Please ask people to take their seats. I think we're ready to begin the session.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back and welcome to our ceremony and union and awards. It's a great pleasure for us to have you here and to celebrate those whom we think are a bit more important than the others. Let's say it this way. As such, we start with the young ones, which are very important for us, which are very important with respect to the future. So the Outstanding Young Scientist Award is an award for those who will take over in the future. And as such, they're on the same level as the Outstanding Awards, which are nearly lifetime awards, which we'll see later. So we'll start with the Outstanding Young Scientist Award. And the first is Young-Yu Liu. And as you see, even in times of computers and matching and planning and trying to be perfect in this, accidents can happen. Because exactly at this moment, he is given his talk in a session, 15 seconds. And of course you understand there was a bit of a panic when hearing this. So what? It happens. Okay. So I only read the short citation for the candidate, and in parallel, he gets his certificate at the other place where he's giving his lecture. So for now, I only read the citation for Young-Yu Liu, who gets the Outstanding Young Scientist Award of EGU for 2009, and it is granted to him for his impressive contributions in water research management. And I think the specialists who are now listening to his talk, and after that hopefully have a discussion, will appreciate his contribution to science, and that he is rewarded at the place directly with his colleagues. Unfortunately, he is not here, but it's okay. I hope you understand. Then we come to the next 2009 Outstanding Young Scientist Award, which is Andreas Philipp Weigel. He gets this award. The 2009 EGU Outstanding Young Scientist Award is granted to Andreas Philipp Weigel for his major contributions in the field of weather forecasting and climate prediction. Andreas, would you please? So now I read the resume for Andreas. Andreas is one of the most outstanding new arrivals to the long-range forecasting field in the last few years within climatology. In particular, his contributions to the field of forecast verification and probabilistic forecast formulation have been top class, as his most recent contributions demonstrate. The development of a deep-biased version of the widely employed BRIA score for the forecast quality assessment of probability forecasts has implications beyond his own field and is being considered in fields like operational weather forecasting and hydrology forecast. Besides, Andreas is already working in bridging the gap between the monthly to seasonal forecasting and the regional climate change problems, a new and exciting aspect that develops the most recent goals formulated by Clever. He is also quickly developing management skills that will benefit both his group and the European climate research community. Congratulations again. The next and last Outstanding Young Scientist Award for this year is for Johan Weijers. The citation is, the 2009 EGU Outstanding Young Scientist Award is granted to Johan Weijers for his distinguished multidisciplinary work on biomarkers. Johan, please. Now, the resume for Johan. Johan was trained as a physical geographer and did a PhD in molecular organic geochemistry. During his thesis work, he turned out to be a very productive and innovative young researcher. The subject of his PhD thesis was a specific class of lipids, the branched tetrahedral lipids which are encountered in coastal marine sediments. Johan was able to show that, first, these are derived from soils and transported by rivers to the ocean. Second, they can be used as traces for soil organic matter input in the ocean. And third, are produced by bacteria and not by archaea. Probably the most innovative part of his PhD work was that he figured out that there are subtle variations in the distribution of these lipids, and that they can be related to temperature and pH of the soil. Using this observation, he was able to make a reconstruction of the past continental climate of tropical Africa in terms of air temperature and rainfall for the last 25,000 years. An application of this new method followed to reconstruct the temperature change during the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum in the Arctic region. This novel method is now receiving a lot of attention from other research groups, since it allows to develop a quantitative picture of continental climate change. His excellence is clear from the impressive number of highest quality papers already now for somebody in his age group. Johan has also shown to be able to explain his research to his peers and the general public. Johan, As next, we come to the Alexander von Humboldt Medal. The Alexander von Humboldt Medal is not a division medal, but is a very special medal, namely because it's a union medal, which is also an outreach medal. This medal is given to people who tried in countries which don't have the same financial capacities and possibilities as we have in Europe. To those people who try to bring this into these countries and who fight for the freedom of science. And as such, it's a medal which for us is very important to help those countries in their science which don't have it as easy as we have nowadays. So I'm very happy that the Alexander von Humboldt Medal 2009 will be given to Rafael Navarro González, and the reason is the 2009 Alexander von Humboldt Medal is awarded to Rafael Navarro González for his outstanding achievements in the discovery of Mars-like soils in the Atacama Desert in northern Chile, a location now being tested by NASA and ESA for new methodologies and/or instrumentations to be sent to Mars in the search of life. Please. Now, the resume. Professor Navarro González is an internationally highly recognized scientist. He has established one of the very best laboratories in Latin America and has made fundamental contributions to several fields related to astrobiology, the origin of life, and life in extreme environments. His research successfully blends laboratory simulations, fieldwork, and theoretical modeling in disciplines in chemistry, physics, and biology. Among the most significant contributions are those that deal with detection of organics in Mars-like environments from cold, Antarctica, temperate, Atacama, and hot, Mojave and Libya deserts on Earth. This work has had a profound impact on NASA's plans for future Mars missions. It is fair to say that this work has resulted in a reassessment of the Viking results and a redesign of the organic search instrument that will fly to Mars on the next Mars rover. It is not surprising that Professor Navarro González has been chosen to be a member of the science team for the Sample Analysis at Mars Instrument Suite, SAM, for the NASA Mars Science Laboratory, scheduled to be launched in the fall of 2009.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be here today to receive the Alexander von Humboldt Medal. I would like to thank the President of the European Geosciences Union, Dr. Gerald Bengtsson, and the Work Committee and the European Geosciences Union itself for this distinction. I will always be grateful to Mexico because after a deep economic crisis, the government of Mexico decided to bring back scientists to establish a Mexican scientific community. I returned to Mexico, and the National University of Mexico and the National Council of Science and Technology provided all the economical support to establish the Laboratory of Plasma Chemistry and Planetary Studies, one of the best of its kind in Latin America, and soon after it became a partner and a close partner of American and European universities. Now the National University of Mexico and the government itself, the people of Mexico, feel proud about this recognition that I'm receiving today from this union. Thank you very much.
We now come to the Alfred Wegener Medal. The 2009 Alfred Wegener Medal is awarded to Lennart Bengtsson for his original contributions to numerical weather prediction and climate modeling, creating model systems of world-leading quality.
you.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the medal.
Very nice. Yeah, please.
And you.
The resume. Lennart Bengtsson has been a visionary in numerical weather prediction, data simulation, and climate modeling for well over 30 years. Not only has he contributed seminal research papers, he has also been the driving force behind the building of institutions and programs, and has thus provided an immense service to the scientific community and to society at large. It was Lennart's leadership that contributed essentially to the establishment of the European Centre of Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, ECMWF, and to its world-leading role in NWP. As head of research at this centre, he developed both scientific and operational aspects of numerical weather prediction. Lennart recognized long before others the enormous potential of reanalysis. Under his directorship, the European Centre of Medium-Range Weather Forecasts conducted the first experimental reanalysis. Lennart was a visionary in also promoting dynamical seasonal prediction during his directorship there. Both reanalysis and seasonal prediction shaped the main mission of this European Centre, the medium range, which is 10 days forecast. Even after his formal retirement from his later position as a director of Max Planck Institute for Meteorology in Hamburg, Lennart has continued to carry out world-class research on topics such as the hydrological cycle, hurricanes in global warming, and problems with reanalyses, to name just a few. Lennart was, and still is, involved with many programs and institutions. One of the important scientific questions that he has championed recently is to urge the modeling community to try to understand why the climate models are so different from each other, and what is the mechanism in each model that is producing global warming, rather than simply and mindlessly running more and more models for longer and longer periods. Lennart.
Well, thank you very much. I am extremely honored for this award. I have almost admired Alfred Wegener for his enormous courage to stand up and fight for his ideas. And he is a great example to follow for all young scientists. I am not a very young scientist any longer, but of course I'm very young in my mind. I would also like to say that I've had a great opportunity to work together with many, many gifted scientists in many countries. And sometimes I almost feel slightly embarrassed to receive a reward like this, because I feel very strongly that this is something which I receive jointly together with all my very gifted and enthusiastic co-workers. Thank you so very much.
And the next is the Arthur Holmes, and as the last one, the Alfred Wegener. These are not just medals, but also EGU honorary memberships. So the Arthur Holmes Medal and EGU honorary membership goes to Dave Gubbins in this year. He's awarded to him for his fundamental research on the origin of geomagnetic reversals and the thermomechanical behavior of the Earth's core. Dave.
Here is the certificate. You want me to hold it? Or do that?
The resume for Dave, it's a short one, but a strong one. David Gubbins' research has covered the field of geomagnetism, theoretical seismology in inverse theory. His main research interest remains the origin of the Earth's magnetic field and understanding long-term behavior of the magnetic field through dynamo models and interpretation of the polymagnetic record. Recent research has involved constraining thermal core-mantle interaction, exploring regimes for dynamo action and geomagnetic constraints on stratification at the top of the Earth's core. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, President. This is indeed a great honor for me. I never thought I'd be standing in this position when, well, a long time ago now, my first international conference at Reading, Keith Runcorn stood up and memorably said that we should have a European organization that was to become the European Geophysical Society, and of course, which is now merged into the European Geophysical Union. And I do recall him saying, well, do you want one or don't you? Put your hands up. And when none of us put our hands up, he looked rather annoyed until someone explained that he had to actually say whether we had to put our hands up in favor or against it. And so it's delightful to see the European Geophysical Union progress to its present state of its present size and organizational excellence. And I too would like to thank the two institutions I've been involved with throughout my life, Cambridge University and Leeds University, both of whom have given me splendid opportunities to conduct my research. I was never quite sure why they were so generous, whether it was my lack of teaching ability or lack of administrative ability, I'm not sure. But I've been very fortunate in having a large number of excellent students and postdocs, and they should share this honor as well. Thank you.
Now we come to a award which is given from our EGU, our union, to special service provided, which is more than an expected normal one. The 2009 EGU Union Service Award is granted to Günter Blöschel in recognition of his outstanding service to the Hydrological Science Division and his activities in promoting the participation and proper recognition of young scientists. Günter. Günter Blöschel is Chair of Hydrology and Water Resource Management at the Vienna University of Technology. His international experiences includes appointments as a research fellow in Vancouver and as a visiting fellow in Canberra and in Melbourne. He is, or has been, an editor or associate editor of 11 major international journals in his field. He received the life membership at the International Water Academy and is fellow of the EGU for recognized international eminence in hydrology and water resources modeling. He is president for Water Resources Systems of the International Association of Hydrological Sciences, chair of the UNESCO Working Group on Climate and Land Use, chair of the Predictions in Ungorged Basins Initiative of the International Association of Hydrological Sciences. He was president of the Hydrology Division of the European Sciences Union.
Thank you. I'm really honored to receive this recognition by the European Geosciences Union, and let me thank a lot of people with which I've been privileged to work here at EGU and elsewhere. I've been happy enough to be on the same council with Tuija and Gerald for many years, and I've always enjoyed the conversations there. I've been very lucky to have co-workers and co-fighters for the hydrological sciences section of the European Geosciences Union, such as Alberto Montanari and Siva Palan and Hubert Savenay. I owe a lot to all of them. And I've been greatly supported by my colleagues at the university, and overall, last but not least, by my family and by my wife, Elizabeth. I've always enjoyed the work here at EGU because of the team spirit. It was not only a service, this is a service award, but also was thoroughly enjoyable most of the time. And I think in terms of the team spirit, the European Geosciences Union has a mission that goes beyond science as a role of EGU to bring together scientists around the world within their meetings, their annual meetings, and the other activities of EGU. So thank you very much.
I now would like to hand over a certificate to Thomas Hofmann from the Austrian Geological Survey for his exceptional work in support of the General Assembly of the Union held in Vienna in April 2008, and not exclusively, because also in 2009. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't expect that I would ever stand here within this group of famous researchers and famous people. I want to say thank you for this. But I want to say, let's say a kind of message. It was 2007, International Year of Planet Earth has just started, and I realized in the International Year 2008, about 8,000 geoscientists will come to Vienna, and here in Austria, we should do something together. We should take this opportunity, and I talked to my colleagues, we should do something with EGU, and they said, oh, forget EGU, they are such a great company, you will never go to the top. I said, no. I called Gerald Bengtsson, we talked to each other. I said we should do something. We met in Hanover in December. We made a motto, Geoscience is responsibility. We made a children competition, and we did many things together. And my message is, if you have an idea, do it. You will find the people. And my personal experience is EGU with 8,000–9,000 people is more flexible than some smaller institutions and groups of people. And this is a real refreshing experience that so great communities are so young and flexible. Keep on. I want to wish you stay young all the future years like you are now. Okay, thanks so much.
Gleiche wünschen wir Ihnen natürlich auch.
Ja, klar. Danke.
And last but not least is our recognition for Fred Spielhaus Jr. for his exceptionally support of EGS, EGU, and his fundamental contributions to the mutual cooperation between the EGU and the EGU and its predecessors for the benefit of science and humanity. Yeah.
Thank you. This came quite as a surprise to me, and I have a chance to talk a little longer later, so I'm not going to take much of the time now, but thank you very much. This organization has been close to me, as you probably know, since Keith Runcorn's times, and I will mention that later. Thank you.
I would now like to ask all of the medalists to please come back on stage so that we can have a group photo before the talks.
May I, sorry, Chef, Miss President, I just saw something happening, namely that our first medalist, who has just finished his lecture and has received already his reward, I would like to use the opportunity and now, at a bit later stage, read the resume. And Young-Yul Liu, could you, together with your award, please come upstairs? And then, again, it's improvisation. I would like the two fellow colleagues, please stay here. Please. Your two fellow colleagues upstairs again, only the two young ones, please. And let the three stand next to each other. And now we read the citation for Young-Yul Liu. The 2009 EGU Outstanding Young Scientist Award is granted to Young-Yul Liu for his impressive contributions in water research management. Only 1 year after he completed his PhD in 2007, Young-Yul Liu has already published 11 peer-reviewed papers. He focused his research in water environmental resources management. He found that the annual virtual water imports through food trade increased sharply from 30 billion cubic meters in 1990s to an average of 71 billion cubic meters between 2002 and 2004. Young-Yul Liu quantified how food consumption patterns influence water requirement in China. The per capita water requirement for food has increased by a factor of 3.4, mainly due to the increase of the consumption of animal products in recent decades. If China approaches the American level of food consumption, the water requirement will be more than double the present level. Such a change in food consumption will have a much greater impact on water requirements than population growth. These results shaped in a paper which has been published already in 2008, and I don't know whether it's out already right now. Yeah? Okay. Young-Yul Liu has developed a GIS-based environmental policy integrated climate model to simulate crop yield and crop water use on global and national scales with high spatial resolutions. This model is now being used by a number of research institutes. Besides his research papers, he is very active in many science-related issues. He is currently an editor of the journal Hydrology and Earth System Sciences. He serves as a committee member of the World Academy of Young Scientists and has been involved in several international research projects.
Well, I didn't prepare for this. It's really my great pleasure to receive this Outstanding Young Scientist Award. And here I want to express my thanks to many colleagues of mine at Swiss Federal Institute of Aquatic Science and Technology in Switzerland, particularly for my supervisors, Professor Alexander Zender and Dr. Hong Yang. I also need to thank my MSc supervisor, Professor Savania from TU Delft. He really gave me a lot of help during the past few years. And I also need to thank all the EGU committee members. They nominate me and give this opportunity to win this prize. Thank you very much.
I think I also would have to cut this prize into many pieces and share it with those who contributed a lot to my work. Of course, first of all, I would like to thank my institution, the Swiss Federal Office of Meteorology, which, despite all the operational duties and commitments, offers a good environment to do interesting research at the interface between science and application. And the Swiss National Center for Competence in Climate Research, NCCR Climate, who finance all this work. Thank you.
Well, about 6 years in science now standing here. I didn't really expect that, to be honest. But I feel really honored, and I would really like to thank the EGU in the person of Professor González for awarding me this prize, which is really an encouraging prize. Certainly as a young scientist, often you're sometimes a bit uncertain in which direction you have to proceed, but I think this prize is really encouraging for the rest of my career, I hope. And of course, also I have to thank many people with whom I collaborate and who have made this possible, and especially a few people that really ignite the fire of science, so to say. We really bring the enthusiasm over. I think that's really important as well, and for that I would really like to thank Dr. Wim Hoek from the University of Utrecht, who might be here, Kees Kasse from the Free University in Amsterdam, but also my supervisors at NIOS, Stefan Schouten and Jaap Zinnige-Damstee. Thank you.
Okay, and if we now can have all the senior awardees on stage for the group photo. Can you move over to the white marker? That's the end of
And then come away from that, it's for the photo now. Okay. So we should be, a bit condensed. This, and you have the one.
Well, I find it remarkable we're in schedule to the minute, and we will proceed immediately to the Union Medal and award talks. And the first one will be given by Fred Spielhaus on boundless science. Fred, please.